Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. We are going to do today on the 18th of Ramadan, the 18th session of the summarized version of the Quran. We will do two surahs, Surah Al-Hajj, Surah number 22, and Surah Al-Muminoon, Surah number 23 of the Quran. The two surahs form a pair. These two surahs are the last in the series of Meccan surahs of the third group of surahs of the Quran. This third group of surahs has 15 surahs in all. The first 14 of them are Meccan, and the last one, Surah Nur, is Madinan Surah. All along the description of these surahs, we found that they're talking about two important related themes. The warning handed out to the people who were rejecting the message of the Almighty, that they are doomed. They'll be punished in this life as well as in the next one. And the other was simultaneous good news that was given to the people who were not just believing in the message, they had accepted it wholeheartedly, and they were supporting the cause of Islam and showing the good virtues of believers. So, this is what you find in the themes of these two surahs. But in particular, you find, and we'll see in Surah Al-Hajj, that the Almighty is warning the people of Mecca, in particular, in reference to the responsibility that they were given by the Almighty for taking charge of running the affairs of the house of God. That responsibility, it required from them that they would behave properly. They would make sure that the unity of the Creator is fully established while worship is going on. And they would display good moral behavior. They now have shown through their conduct that their approach has been completely the otherwise, and therefore they don't deserve to be the rightful custodians of the house of God anymore. They're being warned. In Surah Al-Mu'minun, on the other hand, what we find is that the theme that dominates is the theme of good news that was given to the believers. They were also highlighted in the manner they approach their life. Their good attributes have been mentioned. So let's begin with Surah Al-Hajj first. The surah begins with the description of the terrible atmosphere that will be there at the time of the day of resurrection, on the day of judgment, the way things are going to change, and it's going to be a complete revolution. Everything is going to come to a halt, and it's going to be very scary. That picture has been presented. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الناس, O people, اتقوا ربكم, fear your Lord. إن زلزلة الساعة, indeed the convulsion of the final hour, شيء عظيم, is going to be terrible. The way it's going to shake the entire planet. It's really going to be a very difficult thing for humans to be able to endure. يوم ترونها تذهل كل مرضعة عما أرضعت. That day, every nursing mother will forget about, she'll be distracted from the child she was nursing. Amma ardat wa tad'u kullu zati hamlin hamla. Every pregnant woman will abort her pregnancy. That would be the kind of scary nature of that hour. Ataran nasa sukara, and you will see people imagining that they're intoxicated. Wamahum bisukara, even though they'll not be intoxicated. Walakinna azab Allah shadid. Instead, it will be the punishment of God that's going to be severe, and that punishment will have uh, their faces appear as if they are intoxicated. They're not normal. After that, we move on to verse 5, where the Almighty, in a relatively longish verse, is explaining that it doesn't make sense that people are doubting the possibility that God can create humans once again after they are dead. Have they not seen how they were created in the first place? Ya Yuhannas, O people, in kuntum fi raibim min al bath. If you have any doubt regarding the recreation of life, the resurrection, then فإنا خلقناكم من تراب ثم من نطفة ثم من علقة ثم من مضغة مخلقة وغير مخلقة لنبين لكم. Then have you not considered that we created you from dust, then from a sperm drop, and then from a clinging clot, and then from a lump of flesh, formed and unformed. We do all this so that we may show to you, we show to you the signs that it's all possible. God can create humans in this way, through this sequence of evolution. Why can He not create you again? وَقُدْ نُقِرُّ فِي الْأَرْحَامِ مَا نَشَاءُ إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ مُّسَمًّى. And we settle in the wombs whom we will for a specified term. ثُمَّ نُخْرِجُكُمْ طِفْلًا. Then we bring you out uh, as a child. ثُمَّ تَبْلُغُوا أَشُدَّكُمْ. Then we give you opportunities so that you grow and become strong. وَمِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُتَوَفَّى. Some amongst you are the ones who die early. وَمِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُرَدُّ إِلَىٰ أَرْذَلِ الْعُمُرِ. And there are others who return to the most decrepit age, age where they are weak and unable to understand and properly speak. لِكَيْ لَا يَعْلَمَ مِنْ بَعْدِ عِلْمٍ شَيْئًا. This happens as a result of which man is not able to know much after he knew quite a lot. So the ability to understand and weakens. On the other hand, وَتَرَى الْأَرْضَ حَامِدَةً. You see the soil, the earth, just barren, dry. فَإِذَا أَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْهَا الْمَاءَ اهْتَزَّتْ وَرَبَتْ وَأَنبَتَتْ مِنْ كُلِّ زَوْجٍ بَهِيجٍ. The land is dry, the land is barren, and then we send down upon it rain, and it moves, quivers, swells, and grows of every kind of crop, which is beautiful. Diverse crops are grown. Zalika, this, بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ الْحَقِّ, is because God is the ultimate truth. وَأَنَّهُ يُحْيِي الْمَوْتَى, and so that it be clear that He's going to raise the dead. وَأَنَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ, and that you know well that He has control over everything. We move on to verse 15, where the Almighty is mentioning the fact that humans living in this world, ought to trust their God, their Creator. If they don't, uh, well, actually, they have no option. Then they are in trouble. So he says, "Man kana yazunnu an Allah yansurahullahu fit dunya wal akhirah." If there are anyone there who thinks that Allah will not support him in this world and the hereafter, fal yamdud bi sababin ila sama, then let him extend a rope to the sky. Thumma liyaqta, and then cut it off. Fal yanzur, and then see. Al yuzhibanna kaiduhu ma yaghiz, that will his attempt, his effort, remove that which makes him angry, enrages him. That is, can you do anything without this rope that connects you with God? فَكَذَلِكَ أَنزَلْنَاهُ آيَاتٍ بَيِّنَاتٍ. That is how we reveal our verses, clear verses. وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَن يُرِيدُ. And we want to make it clear that God guides whom He wills. That is, He knows who are the people who deserve to be guided. He looks at the attitude of people and then decides what people, what humans are deserving of His guidance. We then move on to verse 26, where the surah is describing the fact that this house that the Quraysh of Mecca, their leadership, has become custodians of. And as a consequence, they are arrogant. They think that they are important. Uh, it all started from Abraham. وَإِذْ بَوَّأْنَا لِإِبْرَاهِيمَ مَكَانَ الْبَيْتِ, and talk to them about the occasion, the times when we gave to Abraham, designated to him the site of the house. Allah tushrik bi shay'a, telling him that you will not associate with me partners, any partner. وَطَهِّرْ بَيْتِيَ لِلطَّائِفِينَ وَالْقَائِمِينَ وَالرُّكَّعِ السُّجُودِ. And he was instructed that you will purify, cleanse my house for those who will come to do tawaf, circumambulate around it. Wal qaimina, and those who will stand and pray. Wal rukkai sujud, those who are going to bow in ruku and would prostrate in sujud. So this is what the Almighty asked Abraham to do. وَأَذِّنْ فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ يَأْتُوكَ رِجَالًا وَعَلَى كُلِّ ضَامِرٍ يَأْتِينَ مِنْ كُلِّ فَجٍّ عَمِيقٍ. And invite people, proclaim to the people the Hajj. They will come to you walking on foot and on every lean camel. They will come from distant places. It is this invitation that was extended by the Almighty through Ibrahim alayhi salam, Abraham, to people around, all around in this world, that we respond to when we go for Hajj and Umrah. And it is because of this reason that when we embark upon the journey, we start chanting Talbiyah, Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik. I'm present. I'm here. Oh Allah, I'm here. In other words, you invited me and now I'm here. I'm coming to your house. So, if you have that invitation that's mentioned in this verse 27 of Surah Hajj in your mind while you're doing Talbiyah, you'll have a completely different feeling. Then we have the further description of Hajj and animal sacrifice in verse 34 onwards. The Quran says, وَلِكُلِّ أُمَّةٍ جَعَلْنَا مَنْسَكًا. And for every religion, we have appointed a way of sacrifice, a ritual. لِيَذْكُرُ اسْمَ اللَّهِ عَلَى مَا رَزَقَهُم مِّن بَهِيمَةِ الْأَنْعَامِ. so that they mention the name of God over what He has provided for them in the form of animals. So the rituals are different, they do it somewhat differently, but the purpose is the same, that the animals have to be sacrificed in the name of the Creator who created and who is sustaining this world with all the needs that are there provided for. فَإِلَهُكُمْ إِلَهٌ وَاحِدٌ. So be sure that your God, your deity, the being worthy of being worshipped, is only one God. فَلَهُ أَسْلِمُوا. So submit to Him. فَبَشِّرِ الْمُخْبِتِينَ. And, O Prophet, give good news to those who are humble, who humble themselves. Then uh, it goes on to say that Allazina iza zukir Allahu. These people who humble themselves are the ones who iza zukir Allahu. When God is mentioned before them, wajilat qulubuhum. Their hearts are fearful. Fearful because they recognize God through His attributes. And imagine that if that's what God is, then where do we stand? So they're fearful, they're embarrassed, they're inclined to be to get closer to Him, to seek His forgiveness, etc. As-sabirin, and these are the people who are patient, perseverant, ala ma asabahum, on whatever they go through, what is afflicted, what has afflicted them. Wal muqim salati, and the other ones who establish prayers, say the prayers regularly. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ, and whatever we have given them in the form of provision, they spend from it. Wal budna, and as far as the camels, sacrificial camels are concerned, جَعَلْنَاهَا لَكُم مِّن شَعَائِرِ اللَّهِ. We have appointed them too as sha'irullah, as symbols of God. Shaira, the singular of sha'ir, means religious symbol. The Almighty has decided, set forth certain symbols for us to respect, to take them seriously. And this is particularly true when we go for Umrah and Hajj. All Umrah and Hajj is actually the performance of rituals that have to do with one religious symbol or another. And each religious symbol has a deeper meaning. So we go through the expectations that we are required to do with those symbols because we are being obedient to the Almighty. But He expects us that each of those symbols are required, are respected, along with the real deeper meanings that they carry. So we'll come up with an example. So these are the symbols of the Almighty, the camels as well. فَاذْكُرُ اسْمَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهَا الصَّوَافَّ. So mention the name of God upon them when they are lined up for sacrifice. فَإِذَا وَجَبَتْ جُنُوبُهَا, and when they have fallen lifeless on their sides. That is how animals are sacrificed. It's a way called nahar. They fakulu minha, then eat from them. That is, you will obviously have their meat, and you also feed at'imul qani'a wal mu'tarra, those who are needy and they don't ask for help, and those who are asking for help. Feed everyone. كَذَلِكَ سَخَّرْنَاهَا لَكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. That is how we have made them to serve you, subjected them to you, so that you be grateful. You see, Gratefulness stems from the realization that what we are getting is what we need. We like it, but we had no right on it. We didn't deserve it. And we have been given these blessings by the Creator, and therefore we need to be thankful to Him. لَن يَنَالَ اللَّهَ لُحُومُهَا وَلَا دِمَاؤُهَا. Their meat and their blood will not reach God. وَلَكِنْ يَنَالُهُ التَّقْوَى مِنْكُمْ. But what reaches Him is your taqwa, your God consciousness, your piety. That is, He wants you to realize that the sacrifice of animal is a symbolic expression of your commitment, that you will sacrifice in every aspect of life as and when you will come to learn about the Almighty's expectations. In animal sacrifice, what we are doing is that we are symbolically offering an animal in lieu of, in place of our own selves, our own souls. Imagining telling the Almighty that He deserved our life to be sacrificed for His sake. He is kind not to have asked for it. So instead, we are giving this animal as an alternative. We offer it. And this offer is with a commitment of our heart that we are going to continue to serve you. And, this is what the Almighty is saying, that He doesn't receive their meat nor their blood. What reaches Him is the taqwa, the God consciousness, the piety, these feelings that I've mentioned. They are the ones that are going to go to you. You see, it is this understanding of the spirit behind each of the injunctions of the Almighty that matter. Without this spirit, without the proper understanding of the real deeper expectations, religion becomes only a hollow list of hollow rituals which people go through just because it's a part of their culture. So it's so very important that they understand what really is the true spirit, what are the true meanings behind whatever the Almighty is expecting us to do. كَذَلِكَ سَخَّرَهَا لَكُمْ. That is how He has subjected them for you. لِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ, so that you glorify God for what He has guided you. وَبَشِّرِ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And, O Prophet, give good news to the believers. We move on to now verse 39, which it is said is verse, the next few verses are Madinan verses, but because they were considered, their theme, their meanings were consistent with the message of Surah Hajj, they were added to this surah. This has also been done in the case of some other surahs as well, which is again an indication of the fact that the Quran has been arranged by the Almighty in a manner which was different from its chronological order. And the idea was to give this new ummah a Quran that they would read in a wise order that will enable them to understand the Almighty's guidance in a way that the life of the Prophet and the way he delivered the message and the way it went through its various different stages, all of them would come to light. You'll be able to understand. أُذِنَ لِلَّذِينَ يُقَاتَلُونَ بِأَنَّهُمْ ظُلِمُوا. Permission has been given to those who are being fought against. The permission to fight has been given. وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى نَصْرِهِمْ لَقَدِيرٌ. And this has been given بِأَنَّهُمْ ظُلِمُوا, because they were wronged. وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى نَصْرِهِمْ لَقَدِيرٌ. And indeed God can do whatever he wants to. He is fully competent to give them victory. الذين أخرجوا من ديارهم بغير حق. He's going to support the people who were evicted from their homes بغير حق, without any justification. إلا أن يقولوا ربنا الله. The only fault was that they said, our Lord is Allah the God. وَلَوْلَا دَفْعُ اللَّهِ النَّاسِ. And had it not been the case that God repels, takes away some people bibad through others, لَهُدِّمَتْ صَوَامِعُ. Had he not allowed this jihad, this possibility of believers fighting against non-believers, it would have then resulted in لَهُدِّمَتْ صَوَامِعُ وَبِيعٌ وَصَلَوَاتٌ وَمَسَاجِدٌ. The places of worship would have been destroyed by people. What places? It mentions 4. The monasteries, the churches, the synagogues, and the mosques. The verse doesn't just mention mosques. It mentions the places of worship of other religious people too. So in other words, jihad, or the possibility of fighting against the enemy, has been allowed by the Almighty so that people are not allowed to create mischief and chaos and thus be able to do evil things, including the possibility of destroying the houses of God. And it goes on to say that these are the places yuzkaru fi hasmullahi kathira, where God's name is mentioned regularly. It's frequently mentioned. وَلَيَنْصُرَنَّ اللَّهُ مَنْ يَنْصُرُهُ. And God most certainly is going to support those who will support him, his cause. وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَقَوِيٌّ عَزِيزٌ. Most certainly God is powerful and he's mighty. So that is why he has allowed and has encouraged people to fight for his cause, so that mischief, evil is not allowed to devastate the houses of God and to cause harm to the possibility of worship that's happening in this world. And obviously that also means that all other evils are also not allowed to take place. That evil people who are mighty, militarily strong, they're capable of doing. Allazina immakkannahum fil ard. Those good people who fight for the sake of God are the ones whom, if we give them authority over a land, aqamus salat, they establish the system of prayer, wa'atamus zakat, and they give zakat, wa'amaru bil ma'ruf, and they enjoin what is clearly right, وَنَحَوْا عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ, and they forbid what is clearly wrong. وَلِلَّهِ عَاقِبَةُ الْأُمُورِ, and to God belongs the ultimate outcome of all matters. In verse 52, the Almighty mentions that each prophet who came to this world had his share of trials, challenges. So the verse says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ مِنْ رَسُولٍ وَلَا نَبِيٍّ. There did not come any prophet, any messenger before you. إِلَّا إِذَا تَمَنَّى, except that when he intended the good message to prevail, أَلْقَى الشَّيْطَانُ فِي أُمْنِيَتِهِ. Satan threw his obstacles, hurdles, opposition in the way of his aspirations, his plan. فَيَنْسَخُ اللَّهُ مَا يُلْقِي الشَّيْطَانِ. So what happened was that God caused whatever Satan threw to be demolished. ثُمَّ يُحْكِمُ اللَّهُ آيَاتِهِ. Then he made his verses established, his plans implemented. Wallahu alimun hakim. And God is knowing and wise. لِيَجْعَلَ مَا يُلْقِي الشَّيْطَانُ فِتْنَةً. So that he should cause what Satan threw as challenges, cause them to become fitnatan, a trial. لِلَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضٌ. For those whose hearts were diseased. وَالْقَاسِيَةِ قُلُوبُهُمْ. And for those whose hearts were hardened. That is, there is evil in this world, which is a reason, a way to find out, establish whether there are people who are interested in the truth or not. Because when there are temptations to do wrong, it's then that people who are not particularly inclined to accept the message of the Almighty, they get distracted and they get inclined towards it. So had there been no choices, probably there would have been no practical demonstrations of evil. وَإِنَّ الظَّالِمِينَ لَفِي شِقَاقٍ بَعِيدٍ. And indeed, those who are unjust, they have dissented and gone to a great distance in disagreement. That is, they have disagreed to such an extent that there is no possibility of them returning. Uh, this happens وَلِيَعْلَمَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ. So that those who have been given true knowledge, they should know أَنَّهُ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّكَ. That this message is the truth from their Lord. فَيُؤْمِنُوا بِهِ. So they believe in it. It's in the wake of differences that people are able to truly understand that the message of the Almighty is actually correct. And it is in the wake of these differences that those who are not committed, their lack of commitment is exposed. فَتُخْبِتَ لَهُ قُلُوبُهُمْ. So when they realize it, believers, they humbly submit to the message. وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَهَادِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. And indeed, Allah, God, guides those who have believed to the straight path. Uh, verse 73 mentions the fact that people who are worshipping false gods, how misled and misguided they are. Ya ayyuhannas, O people, ضُرِبَ مَثَلٌ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ. We are presenting an example, so listen to it carefully. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. Those whom you call upon, you invoke, other than God, Allah. لَن يَخْلُقُوا ذُبَابًا. They can't even create a fly. وَلَوِ اجْتَمَعُوا لَهُ. Even if they all false gods gather together. وَإِنْ يَسْلُبْهُمُ الذُّبَابُ شَيْئًا. And if the fly was to steal away from them even something tiny, a small thing, uh, from the food that you serve before them, لَا يَسْتَنْقِذُوهُ مِنْهُ. They would not be able to recover it from the fly. ضَعُفَ الطَّالِبُ وَالْمَطْلُوبُ. Weak are the pursuers and the pursued. That is, how weak are those who are going after these false gods, and how weak are these false gods. Now we move to the end of the surah, verse 77. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, believers, irka'u wasjudu wa'budu rabbakum. You bow down, you prostrate, you worship your Lord, waf'alul khair, and do the good deeds, la'allakum tuflihun, so that you are successful. Uh, And then the last verse talks about the important obligation that the Almighty has given to the believers, the companions of the Prophet in particular, and obviously following their footsteps, the rest of the Muslims as well. The Quran says, "Wajahidu fillahi haqqa jihadi," and struggle in the way of God, the way this struggle should be undertaken in the true, correct spirit. Huwashtabakum. He has chosen you, selected you. وَمَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ. And he has left in your religion no difficulty. It's all simple, doable. Millata abikum Ibrahim. This is the religion of your forefather, Abraham. Your ancestor, Abraham, whom you are proud of, it's his religion. وَسَمَّاكُمُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. He named you Muslims. مِنْ قَبْلُ وَفِي هَذَا. Before, in the earlier messages as well, and in this message too. لِيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ شَهِيدًا عَلَيْكُمْ. This ummah has been formed so that the messenger be a witness over you. وَتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ النَّاسِ. And you be witness over the rest of the mankind, over other people. In other words, the Almighty, instead of arranging for the messenger to deliver the message to all people around in this world, he chose an ummah, a group that was the group of companions, and they were delivered the message by the messenger, who was a witness over them. He believed in it, he practiced it, and he delivered it. So he became a witness over others. And those others, the companions, now it was their task to do the same for the rest of the mankind. So when you've understood it, فَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ, then you say your prayers regularly and pay zakat. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِاللَّهِ, and hold fast to the rope of God, that is the Quran. You will hold fast to it and you will be united. You will not do it and you will be disunited. Huwa Mawlakum. He is your protector. فَنِعْمَ الْمَوْلَى. So what a good protector. فَنِعْمَ النَّصِيرُ. And what a good supporter. After that, we have the other surah, Surah Al-Muminoon, which partners with this surah to form a pair. It begins, as I said earlier, with a mention of the declaration of the victory, success of believers. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Most certainly the believers have succeeded. Success of the believers was there in this world as well when this Quran was being revealed. But true success, according to the Quran, is the success of the next life. True success would manifest itself only when believers would enter the paradise. These believers are the ones, الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ, who are submissive, humble in their prayers. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ, and they ignore and turn away from what is love, which is indecent, unworthy of their attention. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ, and they are observant of zakat. They pay zakat regularly. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ, and they guard their private parts. إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ, except from their wives or those their right hands possess. فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مَلُومِينَ, for indeed they will not be blamed in that case. What the right hands possess is something that we'll talk more about tomorrow, inshallah, in Surah Nur. Slaves and slave girls who were there not because Islam had introduced them into society, it was there as a challenge, as a problem. Never approved by the Almighty right from the beginning. But in order to get rid of this menace of slavery, there was a planning, long-term plan that was laid out. Otherwise, it would have been counterproductive. Says, فَمَنِ ابْتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ, but whoever seeks beyond that, seeks to satisfy his desires, then those are the ones who will cross limits. They are the transgressors. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِأَمَانَاتِهِمْ وَعَهْدِهِمْ رَاعُونَ, and they are the ones who uh, fulfill their trusts, abide by their promises, and abide by their promises. That is, they're trustworthy and they fulfill their promises. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَوَاتِهِمْ يُحَافِظُونَ, and they are the ones who uh, guard, carefully maintain their prayers. So the description of the believers started with prayers and ended with prayers. It's formal prayer, properly said and regularly said, is what guards a believer against the threats of evil, encroaching upon him. أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْوَارِثُونَ, those are the true inheritors, justifiable inheritors. الَّذِينَ يَرِثُونَ الْفِرْدَوْسَ, they will inherit the the garden of Firdaus. هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ, they're going to live therein forever. After that, we find the mention of the Almighty's blessings, which He has given to us, making us realize that we need to be ever grateful to Him. وَإِنَّ لَكُمْ فِي الْأَنْعَامِ الْعِبْرَةَ, and indeed for you is a lesson in the animals, livestock that you possess. نُسْقِيكُم مِّمَّا فِي بُطُونِهَا, we give you to drink from that which is in their bellies. وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَنَافِعُ كَثِيرَةٌ, and for you in them are numerous other benefits. وَمِنْهَا تَأْكُلُونَ, and you eat from them as well. That is, you eat their meat, you have this drink, milk that comes out from their bellies, and وَعَلَيْهَا, and upon them, وَعَلَى الْفُلْكِ, and upon the ships, تُحْمَلُونَ, you are carried, you travel. In those days particularly, the animals were also a means of transportation. So they had so many different contributions to make the life of humans much easier and doable. Now, when the ship is mentioned, the Almighty moves on to another theme. He says, وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ, because Noah was rescued by the Almighty uh, when he went aboard on the ship along with his family members who had believed and others who had believed. So we had certainly sent Noah to his people, and he said, Ya qawmi a'budullaha ma lakum min ilahin ghayru, worship God, you have no deity other than him. Afala tattaqun, and will you not fear him? So it was a common theme that all prophets presented for people to believe in and to follow. Worship one God, something which unfortunately people have ignored, uh, even though they were presented with this clear understanding that there can be no compromises on the concept of the unity of the Almighty. Then we move on to verse 35 onwards, wherein we find that uh, God is mentioning the reservations of disbelievers regarding the possibility of a life hereafter. And the manner their criticism is mentioned, one cannot miss noticing the reality that God has presented their narrative, their point of view most effectively. That is to actually teach to us this important principle lesson that even when we disagree with others, we must not be unfair in presenting the point of view of the others. There are many of us who, when they disagree with others, we lie, we cheat, we distort information, etc. But look at this statement. The Almighty has mentioned what disbelievers would say regarding the uh, the possibility or lack of possibility of the life hereafter and what the prophets were presenting. They said, "Aya'idukum annakum iza mittum wa kuntum turaban wa izaman." Does he promise you that when you've died and you'll become dust and bones, annakum mukhrajun, that you will be brought forth once again, brought back to life? Hayhata, hayhata, lima tuadun. Far-fetched, far-fetched is what you are being promised. It's not possible. In hiya illa hayatuna dunya. Life is only one hour, this worldly life alone. Namutu, we live in it. Sorry. Namutu, we die in it. Vanahya, and we live in it. Vama nahnu bimabusin, and we are not going to be resurrected. In huwa illa rajulun, he is just a man, a human. Iftara ala Allahi kaziba, and he is inventing a lie about God. Vama nahnu lahu bimuminin, and we are not going to believe in it. So, you see, the way it has been presented, if you read it, you might find yourself temporarily, for a short while, kind of agreeing with what the criticism says. God wants us to be open and to read what people are saying, negative things they're mentioning, with an open mind. Why? Because it's only after we become confused that we'll have genuinely good questions to ask. And it's only when we read the message of the Almighty and pursue the search for truth uh, that we'll be able to know the truth properly. We will understand the message properly. What I've found amongst many Muslims, many practicing Muslims, is that we've turned out to be superficial, shallow. Why? Because right from the beginning, you're just agreeing with everything. Absolutely right. That's right. That's true. Why not? I'm sure. I'm convinced. I believe. And if somebody mentions something different, astaghfirullah, how wrong, he's misguided, and so on, without thinking. It's just words coming out from here. They don't go down because we don't understand, we don't question, we don't criticize, we don't discuss, which is what the Quran is saying. We are not deeply reflecting the verses of the Quran. And the Quran keeps throwing at us intellectual challenges so that we think and then we find answers. So, that's what the Quran is. But if it is just read without any intention of understanding, imagine what's going to happen. People read the Quran and they read it so, devotedly. They're so, uh, they are involved in this task, particularly in this month of Ramadan, with a clear intention of not understanding the Quran, and yet being eligible to the rewards of reading it. In verse 51, the Almighty is talking about the fact that all messengers came with the same message. Ya ayyuhar rusul, O messengers, kulu min at-tayyibat, eat from the pure food that's available, wa'malu salihah, and do good righteous deeds. Inni bima ta'maluna alim. I, whatever you do, am fully aware of. I know it. Wa inna hazihi ummatukum ummatan wahida. And this ummah, that is the group of messengers, all of them, ummatan wahida, they have one religion. Wa ana rabbukum, and I'm your Lord. Fattaqun, so you fear me. Then we move on to verse 57, wherein the Almighty is informing us that those who truly believe, they are the ones who take lead in doing good deeds. إن الذين هم من خشية ربهم مشفقون. Indeed, they are the ones who are fearful, and they they approach the Almighty with the spirit of fear, of awe. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِمْ يُؤْمِنُونَ. And they believe in the signs of their Lord truly. They understand those signs and they believe in them by understanding them. وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْتُونَ مَا آتَوْا. And those are the people who give whatever they give, that is, give in charity in the way of God for helping the poor. But when they give, وَقُلُوبُهُمْ وَجِلَةٌ, their hearts are fearful, أَنَّهُمْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ رَاجِعُونَ, that they will return to their Lord. In other words, when they are helping out people, they don't have this feeling in their minds, hearts, that they are favoring others. Instead, they're fearful that they're going to be accountable to the Almighty. And they're not sure whether what they've done is enough. So that's their spirit. Ulaika, such are the people, yusari'una fil khairat, who are taking lead, who are hastening towards good deeds. Fahum laha sabiqun. And they are the ones who are going to outdo, outperform others, all others. If that's what our goal is, that we be the best of the performers, then this is the attitude that we should have in life. Then we move on to verse 93 onwards. Uh, Towards the end of the surah, the Almighty is asking the Prophet, and as a consequence, his followers, to pray like this. قُلْ رَبِّ إِمَّا تُرِيَنِّي مَا يُوعَدُونَ. O Prophet, say, my Lord, if turiyanni ma yuadun, you were to show me what you have promised, you've promised them. That is, they have been promised with the punishment. Rabbi fala taj'alni fil qawmi zalimin. Don't please make me among the wrongdoing people. There was no chance that the Prophet would be amongst them. But then this is the spirit that we should have. When you are aware of the fact that it's going to be a real horrible experience, you're not telling yourself that, no, I'm not going to be amongst them. You're actually imagining that that experience would be not possible to be endured. So, I don't want to be there. وَإِنَّا عَلَىٰ أَن نُرِيَكَ مَا نَعِدُهُمْ لَقَادِرُونَ. And most certainly, we are fully capable of showing you what we have promised them. إِدْفَعْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ السَّيِّئَةَ. So, Prophet, you repel what is evil, the wrongdoings that they do, with what is good. So don't repel evil with evil. The wrongs that they're doing, you instead do the right things, the good things. وَقُلْ رَبِّ أَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنْ حَمَذَاتِ الشَّيَاطِينِ. And most importantly, ask the Almighty to be rescued and saved from the onslaught of the real enemy, Say, my lords, I seek refuge in you from the evil whispers, incitements of the Satans, the devils. وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ رَبِّ أَن يَحْضُرُونَ. And I seek refuge in you in that they come close to me. I am in their company. Please take me away from it. This is what the Almighty taught to the Prophet and his companions, because indeed it is Shaitan, particularly the invisible beings who are out there to destroy our faith and character, that need to be feared and to be stayed away from. And only Allah, God, can help us in doing so. Verse 101 mentions, فَإِذَا نُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ. So when the trumpet is going to be blown, فَلَا أَنْسَابَ بَيْنَهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ وَلَا يَتَسَاءَلُونَ, then there's going to be no relationship, no kingship that is going to help. وَلَا يَتَسَاءَلُونَ, nor are they going to ask about one another. People are going to be so involved, engrossed in their own problems, that they'll not think or worry about anybody else. فَمَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. And those whose scales are going to be heavy, it is they who are going to be successful. In other words, the good deeds that they will do, if they will be genuinely good deeds, and they will preserve those deeds from being destroyed by evil deeds, they are the ones who are going to be successful. وَمَنْ خَفَّتْ مَوَازِينُهُ. And those whose scales of deeds would be light, فَأُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ. They are the ones who will have harmed their own souls. وَهُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ فِي جَهَنَّمَ خَالِدُونَ. And in the hell, they're going to live forever. Their good deeds would have no weight, because those deeds were not done properly in true spirit and were not preserved by staying away from evil deeds. So on that day, they will carry no weight. Finally, verse 115 onwards, the Quran is mentioning the fact that the Almighty did not create this world for no purpose. أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا. Do you think that we created this world without any reason? وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ. And that you're not going to return to us? That is, if there's going to be no accountability, it means that you think that this world is purposeless. It was made for no reason. Because here, evil and virtue, good and bad, both live together and nothing happens. I mean, there's no clear superiority of the good over the evil. In fact, it's quite often the very opposite of it. فَتَعَالَى اللَّهُ الْمَلِكُ الْحَقُّ. So exalted is God, the sovereign, the truth. That is, he can never do anything which is purposeless. There is no deity except him, Rabbul Arshil Kareem, the Lord of the noble throne. وَمَنْ يَدْعُو مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ. And whoever invokes besides God another deity, for which he has no proof, then his account is only with his Lord. He's going to take him into account. Indeed, the disbelievers will not succeed. And finally, the prayer, وَقُلْ رَبِّ اغْفِرْ وَارْحَمْ وَأَنْتَ خَيْرُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. And say, O Prophet, my Lord, forgive and have mercy, and you are the best of the merciful. May the Almighty enable us to understand the Quran and to follow it as best as we can.